podium, please. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Brian Joseph Musgrove, file number 23-21461FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, and I have Michael Dagger-Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Musgrove. Mr. Dagger-Margosian might, oh, there he is. So, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, this is a date and time set for pre-trial in this matter. Mr. Musgrove said that he was appearing on his own behalf. I did verify he is not an attorney, and you are still the attorney of record. So, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, Your Honor, I am aware that Mr. Musgrove wants to present information to the court. I'm happy to be standby counsel if he wants to represent himself. Obviously, this court would have to go through the colloquy of that, but obviously it's Mr. Musgrove's legal right to at least ask the court to do that. So I'm here to observe at this point.
All right. So, Mr. Musgrove, when you were at the bench or up at the podium before, you said that you were appearing on behalf of yourself. So, Mr. Musgrove, are you asking to no longer have counsel represent you?
Well, what I'm understanding is that the courts is a private for-profit.
So, Mr. Musgrove, I know where you're going with this, and none of that is valid. None of that is law.
I'm not the all caps name. None
of that is valid. None of that is law. You are standing in my courtroom.
This case answers one of the biggest questions surrounding sovereign citizens. What happens when their fantasy legal theories collide with a real victim, real evidence, and a judge who has absolutely no patience for nonsense? Because today isn't about traffic tickets or refusing to identify yourself. This is a defendant who seems to believe that magic words can erase six-figure allegations. Eerie in Judge Anzaloni's courtroom, a judge known for being calm, direct, and devastatingly clear when someone tries to run pseudo-legal scripts. And our main character today, Brian Musgrove, walks in believing the usual sovereign citizen myths, that courts are private corporations, that names in all caps mean something mystical, and that jurisdiction is optional if you say the right phrases. As this hearing unfolds, you'll watch the judge systematically dismantle every false belief, while quietly explaining just how serious Musgrove's situation actually is. And when the sentencing math starts getting laid out, you can almost hear the reality sinking in. Buckle up, because this is sovereign citizen logic meeting real law, and real consequences.
I tried to file paperwork with the clerk's office ahead of time so that you would have time to review it, and they denied me.
I know what you're talking about. None of that is valid under the law of the state of Michigan or the Constitution of the United States of America.
What do you mean it is?
No.
The Supreme Court says it is.
What does it say it is?
The Supreme Court says that if we were at the age of 18, we were supposed to claim our minor status.
Nope, not valid.
Okay.
So here's what I would say to you. Mr. Dagger-Margosian is, like most of our public defenders, exceptional attorneys and very well versed in the law and very experienced. He gives legal advice. You may not like the legal advice, but it's usually good advice. I've never had anyone from the public defender's office not wholeheartedly try to represent their clients. So what you are talking about is not valid, and it is not going to get you out of this case. You're not going to be able to say all those things because it's not valid.
Everyone involved in this court case has a financial interest in the case.
I don't have a financial interest in your case. I get paid by the state of Michigan, whether you plead, whether it gets dismissed. I don't make any money.
Right here, we see the classic sovereign citizen opening move, challenge jurisdiction by claiming the court is somehow a private entity and the judge has no authority. This argument has been rejected so many times that courts don't even entertain it anymore. And Judge Anzaloni doesn't hesitate for a second. She cuts it off immediately, clearly stating that judge backs down or plays along. But that doesn't work here. And notice Musgrove's reaction. He doesn't pivot to facts or evidence. He doubles down on ideology. That's the danger of these beliefs. Once someone commits to the script, they stop listening to reality. And in a criminal case, that can be catastrophic.
Court system is not a profit generating revenue. We are here to represent people so that people who are charged with crimes are protected, people who are victims of crimes are protected, and that's why we have
But in
all
order
these.
for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. There is no.
Well, there is a victim in this case
The victim
because
would be the company. and the
you are
company-
charged.
I can't face. the
Actually,
company.
just hold on. So your crime that you are charged with, which you are innocent as of this time, let me grab the right file, is failure. Oh, this is let me see. This is an embezzlement charge. So you are charged in count one with embezzlement 50,000 or more, but less than 100,000. That being an agent, servant, or employee of Hardwoods of Michigan Industries did convert to your own use without the consent of your employer or principal, industrial tools and equipment in the amount of $68,938.40 or money or equipment. And that's a 15-year felony. So if you are found guilty by a jury, you can go to prison for up to 15 years.
This is where the wheels really start to come off. Musgrove references a so-called Supreme Court ruling about claiming minor status at adulthood, a claim that simply does not exist. Judges hear this type of misinformation constantly, and Judge Anzalone shuts it down instantly. No hedging. No debate. Just a flat rejection. What makes this moment powerful is that the judge doesn't just say he's wrong, she explains why listening to real attorneys matters. She emphasizes that public defenders are experienced, trained professionals whose job is to give real legal advice, not internet theories. That's an important reminder for viewers. Rejecting counsel doesn't make someone independent or enlightened, it often makes them dangerously unprotected. This is also where Musgrove starts isolating himself. He frames the system as corrupt, financially motivated, and stacked against him. But the judge calmly dismantles that narrative too. There's no conspiracy here, just laws, statutes.
To commit a crime, to facilitate the charge in count one, that carries a maximum penalty of up to 10 years in prison. And the way the statute's set up, I can actually stack those possibly. So you potentially could be looking at up to 25 years in prison. So the victim that's alleged in this would be that business.
Right, and I can't face that accuser because that business can't get on the stand for me to ask questions. And a third party.
But their
can't stand
representative
it.
can. Yes, they can. Yes,
They
they
can.
can.
This exchange exposes one of the biggest logical flaws in sovereign citizen ideology, the idea that crimes don't exist without a visible, individual victim standing in front of them. Judge Anzalone explains, clearly and patiently, that courts aren't profit machines and that she doesn't make money based on outcomes. That alone dismantles the financial interest argument, but then comes the hammer: this case does have a victim. A company. Real losses. Real harm. And that's where Musgrove's entire worldview collapses. Because embezzlement isn't theoretical. It's measurable. Money and equipment don't just vanish into philosophy. His is the turning point where the case shifts from abstract nonsense to concrete reality. And once a defendant can't deny the existence of a victim.
So I have $189,000 of student loan debt that was forgiven to be a lawyer. You do not. And Mr. Dagger Margosian, Mr. Isaac Sneed, all of the attorneys here went to law school to know the law, and their job is to advise you of the law. So
Yeah,
yes, they
they're
can. Yes,
They're
you
going
can
by
be charged.
everything, all the
can't-
laws and statutes that you guys go by
Are
for
legal.
corporations. They're for fictitious.
Still a crime. Still a
corporations.
crime.
This is the moment where fantasy meets math. The judge lays out the embezzlement charge in plain language: over $50,000, under $100,000, allegedly converted without consent. A 15-year felony. No interpretation. No ideology. Just statutory reality, and notice how calmly this is delivered. There's no theatrics, which actually makes it hit harder. Because while Musgrove has been arguing metaphysics, the court has been calculating exposure. Prison exposure. His is also where sovereign citizen tactics become actively dangerous. Instead of focusing on defense strategy, evidence, or mitigation, Musgrove has spent his time denying jurisdiction and personhood. And every second spent on that nonsense is a second not spent protecting himself from very real consequences.
But I'm not
Still
a
a
business
crime.
corporation, I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're
Okay.
standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed.
Yeah, the all caps name is that.
That means nothing. That's not valid. It's
Okay.
not legal.
right.
So do you want to represent yourself or do you want to have an attorney to represent you?
I need some time to think.
Okay, so I'm gonna set this for another pretrial on March 20th at 8:30 in the morning, and Miss Adams could.
And here it is, the reality check. When Judge Anzalone explains that the computer crime charge can be stacked with the embezzlement charge, the stakes escalate instantly. We're no longer talking about a case. We're talking about decades. His is the point where most defendants finally realize how serious things are. The law doesn't care about belief systems. It cares about statutes, elements, and sentencing ranges. And when charges stack, idl.